Imagine this. You're having a perfectly normal day, when suddenly a harsh word or an unexpected criticism hits you like a thunderclap, instantly clouding your mood, shaking your inner peace, and derailing your entire day. What if I told you there's a different way, an art, to act without being pulled into that storm? A way to master your reactions so deeply that you stand unmoved, calm, and clear-headed no matter what life throws at you. This isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending to be unfeeling. It's about unlocking an inner fortress where your actions arise from conscious choice, not from automatic impulse. Rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, this journey reveals how the daily battles we face, the frustration, the criticism, the chaos, can become our greatest teachers rather than our undoing. In this video, we dive into 7 profound lessons that will guide you in mastering this art of action. You'll learn why the very first impulse to react, a lightning-fast, unthinking response, is actually your enemy, and how its control is the gateway to serenity. You'll see why focusing only on what's within your power, rather than wasting energy on the uncontrollable, rewires your mind for peace and effectiveness. You'll discover how to transform every critique into a stepping stone for growth, cultivating an open spirit that thrives on learning. Embracing the ever-changing nature of life, you'll find freedom from anxious grip on the future, stepping into a flow where change is no longer a threat but a constant companion. Through disciplined, daily, small choices, your character becomes steel, tempered by intention, ready to face any challenge. As you reinterpret difficulties as opportunities to expand rather than obstacles to despair, your perspective shifts in a way that rewrites your story of struggle. And finally, you'll learn to build unshakable habits by daily renewing your commitments and principles, anchoring yourself in virtue regardless of external chaos. This is more than philosophy. It's a powerful internal revolution. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand how to master the art of acting without being moved, but you'll also experience a profound transformation in how you live, respond, and grow. You'll stand stronger, calmer, and more aligned with your true self, turning life's inevitable storms into moments of clarity and strength. So stick with me till the end, because what you learn here has the power to change not just your reactions, but your entire approach to living. Ready to take control? Let's begin. 1. Master the first impulse. Control your automatic reactions. 2. Focus on what you can control. Let go of external frustrations. 3. Transform criticism into growth. Embrace feedback openly. 4. Accept impermanence. Find freedom in life's constant change. Cultivate inner discipline. Strengthen your character daily. 6. Reframe challenges. See obstacles as opportunities. 7. Reinforce your principles. Build lasting habits of virtue if this is making sense to you so far. Like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this. It truly helps this message reach more people who are seeking clarity and inner strength in a turbulent world. Now, let's dive deeper into these profound lessons, starting with the very first step to mastering the art of acting without being moved. 1. Master the first impulse. Control your automatic reactions. You know that feeling. A sharp word, a frustrating email, a sudden cutoff in traffic, or even just a minor annoyance that instantly makes your jaw clench or your temper flare. That's the first impulse. It's a lightning-fast, almost primal reaction, an unthinking response that leaps out before your conscious mind has a chance to intervene. For the Stoics, this first impulse, this initial impression is not inherently good or bad. It simply is. It's a sensation, a flicker in the mind. But what we do with that impression, whether we give it our assent, our agreement, our go-ahead, that's where our freedom and our struggle truly lies. Think of it like this. Your mind is a courtroom. An impression, say an insult, bursts through the doors. The first impulse is like a frantic witness yelling its accusation. Most of us, without even realizing it, immediately bang the gavel and declare judgment, letting that initial, unexamined impression dictate our entire response. We snap back, we stew, we let it ruin our day. But the Stoic approach urges us to pause, to consider ourselves the judge, not the hasty witness. When that first impression barges in, demanding an immediate reaction, we are given a brief yet profound window of opportunity. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, spoke of this invaluable moment. If you are struck by a powerful impression, you must tell it. Wait a moment. Let me see what you are and where you come from. This, wait a moment, is everything. It's the superpower that separates the reactive from the responsive. It's the space between stimulus and reaction where our growth and inner peace reside. In modern life, this could mean not hitting send on that angry email immediately, not unleashing a sarcastic remark when provoked, or not succumbing to road rage by swerving dangerously. It means taking a deep breath, counting to 10, or even physically stepping away from the situation for a few minutes. This isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about acknowledging them without letting them control you. It's recognizing that the impression itself doesn't harm you. It's your judgment about the impression and the automatic assent you give it that causes the distress. By practicing this pause, this deliberate delay, you start to regain control. You begin to understand that you are not merely a puppet of your impulses. You are the master of your own internal landscape. This mastery isn't achieved overnight. It's a daily, conscious effort to observe your initial reactions and consciously choose whether to give them your assent. With consistent practice, that crucial gap between impulse and action widens, giving you the time and clarity to respond from a place of reason rather than emotional hijacking. And that, my friend, is the first profound step towards truly mastering the art of acting without being moved. It's learning to conduct the orchestra of your own mind, rather than letting a single, loud instrument dictate the entire symphony. Focus on what you can control. Let go of external frustrations. Once you begin to master that first impulse, you unlock a deeper level of freedom by understanding where your power truly lies. This brings us to the second profound lesson, the dichotomy of control. It's a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, articulated brilliantly by Epictetus, and it's arguably the most liberating insight you can ever embrace. It states simply that some things are within our control, and some things are not. Our opinions, our impulses, our desires, our aversions. These are within our control. Our body, our property, reputation, office, and indeed, anything not our own doing. These are not. Think about the sheer amount of mental energy we spend every day raging against things, utterly beyond our influence. The incessant traffic, the unpredictable weather that ruins your plans, the maddening decisions of politicians, the gossip of colleagues, the opinions of strangers on social media, the sudden shift in the economy that impacts your job, or even just the stubborn refusal of your internet service to cooperate. How many times have you felt your blood pressure rise, your mood sour, or your entire day derailed by these external frustrations? This is like trying to change the course of a river by shouting at it. It's utterly futile and utterly exhausting. The Stoics understood that true serenity doesn't come from a world where everything goes your way. That's a childish fantasy. True serenity comes from understanding what you can change and wisely investing your energy there, while calmly accepting what you cannot. When you internalize this, you realize that your peace isn't dependent on the traffic easing up, or your boss being fair, or the weather being perfect. Your peace is dependent on how you choose to react to these things. Let's say you're stuck in an unexpected traffic jam. You can rage, honk your horn, curse the other drivers, and arrive at your destination seething with anger and frustration. Or you can acknowledge the situation, which is entirely outside your control, and shift your focus. What is within your control? Your response. You can put on a podcast, listen to music, practice mindfulness, or use the time for quiet reflection. The traffic hasn't changed, but your experience of it has been transformed. You've reclaimed your inner peace. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent to the world's problems. It means you become effective. You direct your efforts where they can actually make a difference, on your own judgments, your own intentions, your own actions. If you're concerned about a social issue, you focus on what you can do. Vote, volunteer, educate yourself, speak up constructively. You don't waste energy stewing over what others are doing or thinking, because their minds are their own domain. You focus on living your principles, acting with integrity, and contributing where you can. By constantly asking yourself, is this within my control? You develop a powerful filter for your thoughts and emotions. You learn to shed the heavy burden of trying to orchestrate the world to your liking, and instead, you embrace the profound freedom of mastering your internal world. This shift in focus is not a retreat from reality. It's an empowering realignment with it. It's letting go of the rope in a tug-of-war you can never win, and choosing to walk freely on your own path. 3. Transform criticism into growth. Embrace feedback openly. After understanding what you can and cannot control, a powerful realization emerges. Among the things outside your control are the opinions and criticisms of others. Yet, how often do these external judgments pierce our defenses, trigger our insecurities, and send us spiraling? The third profound lesson teaches us to approach these critiques not as attacks, but as invaluable opportunities for growth. It's about cultivating an open spirit that thrives on learning, even from the most uncomfortable feedback. Our natural inclination, when faced with criticism, is often defensiveness. Our ego flares up, convinced it's under assault. We immediately want to explain, justify, or deflect. But this automatic reaction, this stubborn attachment to being right, blinds us to potential truths. It closes the door to self-improvement. The Stoics, in their relentless pursuit of wisdom and virtue, understood that self-awareness is paramount, and often the most illuminating insights come from external mirrors, even critical ones. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, reflected on this, urging himself to learn even from those who might dislike him, if their words contained any truth. Imagine a scenario. You receive a performance review at work, and alongside praise, there's a point of critique about your communication style. Your first impulse might be to feel stung, to think, they just don't understand how busy I am, or they're being unfair. This is your ego's knee-jerk defense. But what if you paused? What if you consciously decided to disarm that defensiveness and, for a moment, simply Listen, to transform criticism into growth, you must first separate the message from the messenger and your initial emotional response. Someone might deliver feedback poorly, with an unkind tone, or perhaps they have their own biases. These elements are external and beyond your control. What is within your control is how you interpret and use the content of their words. Ask yourself, is there any truth in this? Even a kernel? What can I learn from this perspective, even if I don't agree with every word? This doesn't mean accepting every critique uncritically. It means processing it critically. If a criticism has merit, it becomes a blueprint for improvement. It reveals a blind spot, an area where you can hone your skills, refine your character, or adjust your approach. If it lacks merit, if it's clearly unfounded or malicious, you can then, having given it due consideration, calmly dismiss it. You haven't reacted in anger or fear. You've responded with reasoned discernment. You haven't allowed another's negativity to poison your internal state, because you've used your internal faculty of reason to evaluate the input. Cultivating this openness requires intellectual humility. It means acknowledging that you don't have all the answers, that you are a work in progress, and that every interaction, even a challenging one, holds potential for learning. By actively seeking and embracing feedback, you not only improve yourself, but you also signal to the world that you are committed to growth. You become a person who sees difficulties not as personal affronts, but as opportunities to become wiser, more capable, and ultimately, more resilient. This is the art of turning a perceived attack into a personal advantage, using the very challenges thrown at you to sharpen your edge and deepen your understanding. 4. Accept impermanence. Find freedom in life's constant change. Having learned to master impulses, focus on control, and embrace criticism, we arrive at a profound truth that underpins much of Stoic serenity: the inescapable reality of impermanence. The fourth lesson is to accept that everything changes, that life is a continuous river of flux, and to find profound freedom in this constant ebb and flow. Our minds, however, often resist this truth. We cling to stability, to certainty, to how things were or how things should be. And in this clinging, we create our own suffering. From the smallest atom to the grandest galaxy, from our own bodies to our relationships, our careers, and our possessions, nothing is static. Heraclitus famously declared, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." This isn't just poetic metaphor. It's a fundamental truth of existence. Yet we construct our lives as if things will remain forever. We anxiously grip onto jobs, relationships, health, youth, and material comforts. And when the inevitable shift occurs, we feel betrayed, devastated, or lost. The Stoic practice of memento mori, often translated as "remember you must die," is not merely a morbid reflection on mortality. It's an expansive reminder of impermanence in all its forms. It reminds us that our bodies age, our loved ones depart, our fortunes rise and fall, and even our own thoughts and emotions are transient. When we truly internalize this, a remarkable shift begins to occur. The anxiety stemming from our desperate attempts to control the uncontrollable future starts to dissipate. Think about the anxiety that arises from anticipating a job loss, a breakup, or a significant life change. Much of that suffering comes from our resistance to the idea of change itself, our attachment to the present state. By accepting impermanence, you don't become passive or indifferent. You become profoundly adaptable. You acknowledge that every moment is a fleeting gift, to be appreciated for what it is, knowing that it too will pass. This doesn't diminish joy, it deepens it, making you savor the present more intensely. It also doesn't negate sorrow, it places it in its proper context, as a natural, albeit painful, part of the human experience that, like all things, will eventually evolve. In our modern world, change is not just constant, it's accelerating. Technological advancements, global events, and societal shifts mean that what was stable yesterday might be obsolete tomorrow. Those who resist this flow are often left behind, stressed and bewildered. Those who embrace it, who cultivate an inner flexibility, find themselves not just surviving, but thriving. They see change not as a threat to their carefully constructed world, but as a continuous invitation to learn, to grow, and to redefine themselves. This acceptance of impermanence frees you from the anxious grip on the future. It allows you to step into a flow where change is no longer something to be feared, but a constant companion, a natural rhythm of life. You learn to hold on to things lightly, to appreciate them while they are present, and to gracefully let them go when their time has come. This radical acceptance is a profound wellspring of peace, allowing you to move through life's inevitable storms with a calm and clear-headed presence, knowing that even the storm itself will eventually give way to new skies. Cultivate inner discipline. Strengthen your character daily. As we navigate life's inevitable changes and challenges, our most reliable anchor is our inner discipline. This brings us to the fifth lesson: the daily conscious cultivation of inner strength and character. Many people mistakenly view discipline as a rigid, joyless imposition, a kind of self-punishment. But for the Stoics, discipline, or ascesis in Greek, was the path to true freedom, a rigorous training of the self to align with reason and virtue. It's the conscious choice to act in accordance with your highest principles, even when it's difficult, uncomfortable, or unpopular. Think about the countless small choices you make every day. Do you hit snooze again? Or do you get up and tackle the day's first task? Do you scroll mindlessly through social media? Or do you engage in a focused activity that moves you towards your goals? Do you give in to every craving? Or do you exercise moderation? Each of these seemingly minor decisions is a brick in the foundation of your character. Consistent, disciplined action, no matter how small, gradually builds a mental and moral fortitude that becomes your internal fortress against external chaos. Inner discipline isn't about grand, sweeping gestures. It's about the relentless accumulation of small, intentional choices. It's about building habits that serve your long-term well-being and align with your values, rather than succumbing to momentary impulses or fleeting desires. For instance, if you value health, discipline means consistently choosing nutritious food and regular exercise, even when you're tired or tempted by less healthy options. If you value knowledge, it means dedicating time each day to learning, even when entertainment beckons. This discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about getting back on track when you falter, understanding that every slip-up is a learning opportunity, not a reason to abandon your efforts. It's about creating a personal code of conduct and striving daily to live by it. This is how your character becomes steel, tempered by intention and constant practice. When life throws unexpected challenges at you, a difficult conversation, a sudden setback, an opportunity that requires extra effort, your cultivated discipline provides the inner resources to face it head-on, rather than crumbling or procrastinating. A key Stoic practice for cultivating inner discipline is daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review your actions, words, and thoughts. Ask yourself, where did I act well? Where could I have done better? Did I live up to my principles? What did I learn? This self-examination isn't about self-condemnation. It's about conscious improvement, about refining your approach and strengthening your resolve for the following day. By consistently exercising your inner discipline, you are not just building habits, you are actively shaping who you are. You are becoming someone who is reliable, resilient, and true to themselves. This self-mastery, this control over your own choices and actions, is the ultimate form of power. It liberates you from the whims of external circumstances and anchors you in an unshakable core of strength and virtue that resides deep within. It's choosing freedom over fleeting comfort, and in doing so, you become truly unstoppable. 6. Reframe challenges. See obstacles as opportunities. Once you've started to cultivate inner discipline, a remarkable shift in perspective becomes possible. The ability to reframe challenges not as obstacles to despair, but as profound opportunities for growth and expansion. This sixth lesson is about actively changing your mental narrative around difficulties, transforming perceived setbacks into stepping stones. Our initial, often automatic reaction to an impediment is usually one of frustration, anger, or defeat. We see a blocked path and lament its unfairness, rather than looking for a way around, through, or even up from it. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, understood that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, in the sense that every event, particularly every difficulty, carries with it the raw material for your development. The philosophy of amor fati, love of fate, is the radical acceptance and even embracing of everything that happens. This doesn't mean passively submitting to misfortune. It means actively seeking the potential good within every situation, seeing it as a unique prompt to exercise virtue, ingenuity, or resilience. Consider a modern example. A significant project you've been working on suddenly gets canceled or drastically changed. Your initial reaction might be anger, disappointment, or feeling like your efforts were wasted. This is the common, unexamined response. But if you apply the Stoic reframing, you ask, what is the opportunity here? What can I learn? How can I grow? Perhaps it's an opportunity to practice patience, to develop flexibility, to learn a new skill, or even to redirect your energy towards something more meaningful that you might have otherwise overlooked. The obstacle itself isn't what defeats us. It's our judgment about the obstacle. If we label it as inherently bad or impossible, then our actions will follow that judgment, leading to paralysis or despair. But if we choose to see it as a test, a puzzle, or an unexpected training exercise, then our minds open up to solutions and new pathways. A business failure can be the crucible that forges a more resilient entrepreneur. A health setback can be the catalyst for profound lifestyle changes and a deeper appreciation for well-being. A difficult conversation can be an opportunity to practice courage, empathy, and clear communication. This reframing isn't about superficial positive thinking. It's a deep, philosophical commitment to actively engaging with reality in a way that maximizes your growth. It involves asking insightful questions. What virtue can I practice here? How can this make me stronger? What lesson is hidden within this difficulty? It means turning the obstacle upside down, as modern Stoic Ryan Holiday puts it, to reveal its inherent potential. The very thing blocking your path can become the path itself. By consistently practicing this mental shift, you begin to rewrite your story of struggle. Challenges no longer appear as insurmountable walls, but as vital resistance that strengthens your metaphorical muscles. You stop fearing adversity and start to see it as an essential component of a well-lived life, a powerful forge where your character is continually refined. This perspective cultivates an unbreakable spirit, allowing you to not only endure life's hardships, but to actively leverage them for your own profound benefit, emerging from every difficulty, wiser, stronger, and more capable than before. Reinforce your principles. Build lasting habits of virtue. Finally, after mastering impulses, discerning control, embracing feedback, accepting change, cultivating discipline, and reframing challenges, we arrive at the culminating lesson, the continuous reinforcement of your principles to build lasting habits of virtue. This isn't a one-time achievement. It's a lifelong commitment, a daily renewal of your core values, anchoring yourself in an unshakable ethical framework, regardless of external chaos. For the Stoics, living a good life, a life of eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or human excellence, was synonymous with living in accordance with virtue. These cardinal virtues, wisdom, the ability to discern what is good, bad, and indifferent, courage, facing adversity with strength and integrity, justice, treating others fairly and with benevolence, and temperance, self-mastery and moderation, are not abstract ideals. They are practical guides for every choice, every interaction, every moment of your existence. In our complex modern world, ethical dilemmas and moral ambiguities are constant companions. What is the right thing to do in a tricky work situation? How do you respond to injustice? How do you maintain integrity when faced with temptation? When you have clearly articulated and deeply internalized principles, these questions become clearer. Your principles act as your internal compass, guiding your decisions and anchoring your actions. They provide a stable framework against which to measure every potential choice. But knowing your principles isn't enough. You must live them. This means building habits of virtue through consistent, conscious practice. It's not enough to say you value honesty. You must practice telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. It's not enough to say you value benevolence. You must practice acts of kindness, even when it requires effort. Every choice to act virtuously, no matter how small, strengthens that particular virtue within you. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Think about how easy it is to fall into habits of convenience or compromise. We might cut corners, tell white lies, or avoid difficult but necessary conversations. Each time we do, we slightly erode our character, weakening our internal resolve. Conversely, each time we choose courage over fear, honesty over deception, or fairness over self-interest, we reinforce our principles. These consistent choices build a robust internal architecture that can withstand any storm. This reinforcement also involves regular self-examination. The Stoics encouraged us to ask ourselves throughout the day, and especially during evening reflection, is this action aligned with my principles? Am I acting justly, courageously, wisely, temperately? This continuous feedback loop allows you to course correct, to reaffirm your commitment, and to gradually refine your character. Over time, these conscious choices become automatic, ingrained habits, making virtuous action your default response. When you live by clearly defined principles, you gain an immense sense of inner peace and freedom. You are no longer tossed about by external opinions or fleeting desires. Your actions are rooted in a deep internal conviction, providing a profound sense of purpose and integrity. You become someone who is reliable, not just to others, but to yourself. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about striving for excellence in character, understanding that your truest power lies in your unwavering commitment to living a life of virtue, one deliberate, principled action at a time. It is the final, ongoing revolution that transforms your entire approach to living. And so we've journeyed through these 7 profound lessons, each one a powerful tool in mastering the art of acting without being moved, from controlling that initial impulse to reinforcing your deepest principles. This path offers more than just techniques. It offers a profound transformation. Remember, the goal isn't to become an emotionless statue. It's to become an unshakable oak tree, deeply rooted, flexible enough to sway with the winds, yet firm in its core. It's about cultivating an inner fortress, not to keep the world out, but to ensure that your actions arise from conscious choice, from wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, rather than from automatic impulse or external pressure. This mastery isn't achieved by reading alone. It's forged in the daily crucible of your life. It's in the quiet moments of reflection, in the conscious choices you make when challenged, in the deliberate effort to align your actions with your highest self. It's a journey, not a destination. So I ask you, what is one small step you can take today to practice one of these lessons? Which impulse will you observe rather than obey? What external frustration will you release your grip on? What challenge will you reframe as an opportunity? The power to change your reactions, and in doing so, to change your entire approach to living, rests within you. If you found value in this journey, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel for more insights into living a stronger, calmer, and more aligned life. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. What lesson resonated most with you? Or what's a practical way you plan to implement one of these principles? Leave a comment below and join the conversation. Your insights are invaluable. Thank you for walking this path with me.